Hey guys, this is Chem315. I am back at it with another video for you guys, and I am back with some more Flash Season 7 review, where we get what was supposed to be the Season 6 season finale, but here, season 7 of episode 3 of The Flash, which I thought was a pretty solid episode. Now, I've heard some people didn't like the episode because they felt like it was rushed and there was too much put in, but I'm gonna honestly, if I'm being honest, I would have given the first 3 episodes the benefit of the doubt because listen, it makes sense why this episode felt rushed and felt so compacted because guess what? They never finished filming way back when the virus was such a big thing. I can understand people's frustrations at the time, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Now going forward, if anything feels rushed, pushed together, compiled, then I will rip it. But I'm not going to rip this episode in particular because I know why. They had to get this thing done. They were just finishing things up and stuff like that. And people could put their issues. And again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because this was not supposed to happen. This was legit supposed to be happening sometime last year. And so that, and I thought it was a pretty solid, episode of my opinion, but hey, it is what it is. Now, honestly, the episode picks off where we last left off with Iris coming back forcibly thanks to, I guess, opposite, personality Barry, our artificial Speed Force Barry. And that's when, the others members of Team Flash finally reawaken and they see what's going on, stuff like that. So they eventually put Iris on this, just give her some rest and try to see what's going on with her brain and stuff like that. And they see that her brain's clearly affected from being pulled out of the Mirrorverse to the real world and everything and stuff like that. Now, Barry does apologize for the way he acted, last week. He's like, listen, I know what I was doing. It's on me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that, guys. And even though, Cisco and Caitlin, they're like, look, that wasn't you. We understand. Again, one thing, I made it in my Superman and Lois reaction that thank God I did not make this such a big deal where you have Cisco getting over pissy at Barry for no reason, even though that kind of wasn't him and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you lost my last chance at getting Camilla. I do like the fact that Cisco's like, no, dude, that wasn't you. It's okay. We're going to figure this out. We're going to stop Eva and stuff like that. So I did like that and everything. Also, Barry does say, look, I'm never using the artificial Speed Force again. You can best believe I'm not touching that again, which makes complete sense. If it's literally turning, and it's funny because he makes a reference like, look, I'm not like Thawne, which essentially is like, bruh, you essentially would be turning into Eobard if you went that route again. So, yeah. Now, we cut over the CCPD. They're essentially receiving calls from people that they're like, some people missing, and then they show back up, but they're not acting like themselves. Then you see the Dearborns, Sue's parents, show up, essentially asking Joe, like, look, can you arrest them? Can you arrest her daughter for us and stuff like that? And so we can clear her charges and everything. But that's when, you have this officer calling Joe, only to find out that it's actually Sue herself. So Sue Dearborn makes a return in this episode. And essentially she's like, look, that's not my parents. They're acting completely different than what they would. Next, lo and behold, Joe almost gets pulled in by the Mirrorverse because he sees the mirror arms trying to pull him in and stuff like that. And they see that it's definitely a much bigger issue we see here. Now, Ralph also, she mentioned that Ralph was also tracking a lead, which we do see Ralph Dibny in this episode, well, somewhat. Now, Chester returns. He almost talks about getting grabbed by Eva, and that's when we find out that Eva's trying to take over essentially all of Central City, and the way she's able to do that is essentially she's able to get into any reflective surfaces that is within a vicinity of something like that. So that's when we see her Probarian. She's like, listen, Flash, for the last time, do not get in the way. I'm giving you 2 options. Be just sideline, be good. Listen, just let's adjust and live in the Mirrorverse, Flash. And obviously Barry's like, I can't do that. And that's when Eva's like, listen, we can't win. Or you can't win. So it is what it is. That's when Barry comes back. I will say this. I do question the fact why Team Flash didn't question him or give him any reason to not believe that wasn't a fake version of Barry. But okay, we're just going to pass over that scene. That's when Barry makes the mention to Team Flash, like, look, we can't beat her. I don't have my speed. there's nothing we can really freaking do. And that's when the original Harrison Wells shows up, with Barry, and essentially is like, listen, he explains how he's able to come back. He explains the fact that he's also got the retention of the memories of all the Wells and stuff like that as well. So he knows who Barry is and stuff like that. And essentially he gives Barry the speech, essentially saying, look, dude, you're the paragon of love. Run, Barry, run with love and stuff like that. And find out, which kind of leads into the whole thing where Iris is kind of the spark, which helps him get his powers back later on. We do see a reunion scene with mostly Caitlin and Cisco seeing the original Harrison Wells. Not the reaction that I thought I would have gotten out of those two, out of all the other members of Team Flash. Like, Jesus, hell, Allegra seemed like she gave a little bit more of a fucking emotional reaction than they did. They were kind of just like, what? And I'm like, not the ideal way I thought they would re-see, their Wells, their Harrison Wells. I thought they'd be like, you're back and everything and stuff like that. Holy crap. So, what they eventually do is, again, to get the Speed Force working for Barry, again, is they need, again, another organic type of, transmitter to get it to work. So Iris ends up being that organic transmitter. And essentially this time it gives Barry back his speed. He's got his powers back. And that's when he's able to confront Eva and stuff like that. So he manages to confront Eva. Oh, one more other thing. They have this little mini storyline with Joe and Cecile where they're trying to escape the mirror people. It's kind of a throwaway thing. Nothing much to talk about there. So I'm not going to even waste my time talking about it. 2, also we see the return of Ralph in this episode. His face was all burnt up, because he did too much and stuff like that, and Sue's there. So what they do is they take him back somewhere to rearrange and fix him up. We'll speak about Ralph at the end of the episode. So you have Barry, essentially confront Eva, and essentially, Eva's like, I warned you, but I guess you're not going to listen. So you have this amazing fight, this three Flash team up with Flash, Killer Frost, and Cisco, returning as Vibe, but this time using gadgets to use his Vibe powers, which I thought was fucking dope. So I literally marked down, I was like, oh shit, Vibe's back. Yes! Will Cisco be the important person? Maybe he won't exactly get his meta powers back, but me now can use gadgets with the Vibe powers. Dope! Okay, fine. I'll take it. So you have this you have this pretty cool fight scene, especially with the fact that Barry was running around. There was like this one crazy freaking attack Barry does where he's like running around and then he jumps up and then he has like this Speed Force like lightning whip type of thing. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I'm like, listen, Flash, compared to like say Superman and Lois and Stargirl didn't have the best budget, being they don't look at it, but at the same time they look, oh, okay, we can put some budget into this. I thought that shit was dope and stuff like that. So yeah. Eventually what happens is Iris eventually shows up to try to stop Eva from doing what she's trying to do. She managed to hold back the glass particles that Eva's trying to follow. And then that's when they try to convince her, like, listen, you can find and do something about this another different way. You don't have to do this. So Eva eventually kind of sees the errors of her way. 2, she also called herself Mirror Monarch. Okay, it is what it is. But essentially, she learns the errors of her ways. I thought it was kind of cheesy. Like, okay, this is kind of where I'm like, okay, fine. You have the bad guy finally realize the errors of her ways. So what she tries to do, she tries to stop the other mirror versions of herself from attacking people, but she can't. Eventually, with the side help of Barry and Iris, she's able to do that, yada, yada, yada. Her whole storyline kind of ends where I'm guessing she went back to the Mirrorverse and she kind of just gets off scot-free. Okay! Yeah, fine. Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, she kind of just gone now, so she's just living life in the Mirrorverse now, so. Okay. Whatever. we see Ralph and Sue kind of leave. I'm guessing for the time being with Sue. Ralph's also wearing this suit because I guess his face was so burnt. They make an excuse to put him in like some sort of Darth Vader android type of thing gig. He's talking with like a robotic voice and everything. Again, I will critique that part. I felt like when they said, okay, come on, we're going to fix you up and get you back to normal. Now, we all know the Hartley Sawyer situation. Okay. Some people have feelings towards the fact they think, oh, cancel culture essentially ruined it, yada, yada, yada. It is what it is. I thought what they were going to do is, if you haven't been paying attention, or if you haven't watched Black Lightning, they actually recasted China Anne McClain as Jennifer Pierce with another girl. As a way. And I thought that's what they were going to do. Oh, we're probably going to get a new, what's going to happen is they tried to fix Ralph back to his normal face, but because the damage was too severe, they couldn't be able to do it. And his face stayed in this new looking face. So what I thought would have happened is they were going to recast, Ralph Dibny and have a new person just play as Ralph and replace Hartley Sawyer as Ralph. And I went, okay, understanding. But they didn't do it. They're still hiding his face, and I don't know if they're going to bring Ralph back. It seems like this is an indirect way of writing him off the show unless they eventually find a replacement to recast Hartley Sawyer and stuff like that. Who knows? We heard that Sue Dearborn's not supposed, is going to show up from time to time. Maybe she shows up time to time with Ralph. We'll see what's going to happen there. Hopefully for the Ralph thing, they just recast him and then eventually they make him full-time Team Flash members with Sue Dearborn. We'll see where that goes, but hopefully that works out. Personally, I think that's what they should do. I've been saying, why don't you just recast, elongated man? And it's easier to do that because you can just say, especially in this case, you can say his face was so damn messed up because of the burns, his face couldn't shapeshift back to its original state. So he has a whole new looking face now. And stuff like that. Now, again, like I said, maybe they bring in Ralph back later this season and he takes off the mask and you just have the new recasted actor as Ralph Dibny. We'll see what happens. But other than that, I thought this week's episode of The Flash was a pretty solid episode. I can't wait to finally get into new content of season 7 content. Oh, shit, I almost forgot. Now, back when the whole Barry re-getting his powers back scene happened, we saw this thing where this thing went up and then you see all these different colored lightnings and stuff like that. You had like blue lightning, yellow lightning, red lightning, and green lightning. I don't know what that means. My only guess is because I don't read the DC comics, I don't know what the hell that is. I'm going to have to listen to my Flash people like Paigey, all the other people who review the Flash. I also listen to Married to the Real's reaction, and Trey is really smart at that stuff, so he knows. So I'll be listening to that stuff, and I'll probably get back to tell you guys what that stuff was. But I'm only guessing is, does this start up more speedsters coming up out of nowhere? That's my only guess. But it did look cool visually with the different colored lightnings. So yeah, other than that, I thought it was a solid episode. I enjoyed this episode of The Flash, which was supposed to be the season finale. I thought they did the best they could, even though some people will say it's compacted and very much rushed. I thought they did a pretty good damn job with this episode. So yeah, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this episode of The Flash, your thoughts on the supposed, or what was supposed to be the season 6 finale, as well as hit that subscribe button to get more Flash content, as well as any other CW content like Superman and Lois, Supergirl that's about to come on, and Batwoman. Other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully till then, guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace and stay safe out there, guys. Wear your mask.